Hello all. We have we have tree cutting in every direction. No matter where you go in San Francisco right now, our trees being cut by the thousands. The big excuse is that the trees are giving cover to homeless shelters and homeless encampments. So cut down all the trees. Of course, that gets rid of the homeless encampments. Oh, how stupid can people get? You could send a couple cops down there and have them move along like they do every place else. But no, they're going to cut all the trees down so that the homeless don't have a place to have encampments. More of this right-wing bullshit that just keeps penetrating all of it. We're going to talk about some environmental stuff, and then we'll go over to politics. Gross tree cover loss throughout the world, up from 2015 to now. Let's look at the chart. The reason we're cutting down all these trees is mostly from ignorance. A lot of people think that trees just fall on houses just automatically because they saw it on the news during a big storm. A tree came down and just barely missed. But what about all the other trees that didn't come down? But our respect for trees has gone down, down, down. The land is being used for cattle land to raise cattle so we can supply the cheap fast food restaurants with cheap meat. Fast food restaurants, there's your key. Avoid fast food restaurants while you're trying to cut down or stopping your meat eating altogether. Let's talk about public transportation, shall we? In Africa, 27% of the population uses public transportation. The North America population only uses public transportation about 7% of the time. So transportation is one of the biggest causes of excess CO2. In our atmosphere, causing all this incredibly warm weather here in the winter time in California. It's supposed to be 82, 83 tonight. It's probably close to 75 as we speak. Luxembourg is set to become the first to go free public transportation in the city of Luxembourg. Fantastic, great idea. Couldn't put your money to a more worthy cause. It's a great way to green up the city. So let's go ahead and look at another CO2 emissions chart and have a look. This is from 2017 to 2019. Emissions are sharply up. So we can obviously see that the CO2 emissions are up, not down. They take 1 or 2 days where they're down and they say, oh look, it's dropped, we can all breathe easy. When that CO2 drops, it's probably going into the oceans at that time. But it doesn't mean that we're burning any less CO2. That's just nonsense. Now, let's go over to politics. So, here in the US, it's an incredible political year for 2020. We are seeing amazing things happening to Bernie Sanders, who's being just thrown under the bus, dragged, smashed, and crushed. But the people that want Sanders in and have legally voted for him the way they're supposed to are saying that there's going to be a rebellion if the superdelegates don't pick Sanders for the nominee. Of course, if he wins. He has to win it all first. But if he wins it and they don't pick him for the nominee, there will be a rebellion. And there should be, of course. This may even destroy the Democratic Party altogether. I don't think that'd be too big of a loss to you. Unfortunately, 9 out of 93 superdelegates want to vote for Sanders at this time. Only 9. Now, in the past, of course, superdelegates always vote for what the popular vote is. They've never varied from that. A first, more of this insanity going around the planet. Many are warning that if Sanders is thrown under the bus, that these Sanders supporters will not go to the next Democratic uprunner, like a Bloomberg or a Biden or some right-wing thing like that. You might as well just keep Trump in office, right? They're not much different. They're worried that the Bernies would go to a third party. You damn right. Never would we go and vote for a right-winger if we're truly a left-wing group of people. We're for progressive, universal health care, education for all through taxes. You know, everybody says free, and then they use this free word for thinking that they're getting over, when really, we're paying for it through our taxes. Everybody pays their fair share. Hey, what a concept. So, one more thing about Sanders. You know, I look at every candidate through absolutely neutral eyes. I have no want for someone to win or lose. I want them to prove their ability to do what pretty much works for me. And I found this article. There's a link down below. And I read it and I said, you know, I am against the military-industrial complex. I preach against it all the time here on Pink Barrio. And yet this keeps coming up. I keep reading articles like this about Sanders. And I don't know what to think. What do you guys think? Read the article. I'm not trying to promote any site. I know that this site has a horse in the 2020 election, but I still keep reading this, even regardless of the site. This keeps coming up. What do you guys think of this? Sanders and the military-industrial complex. Is he a supporter of it? I appreciate ups, downs, and new subscribers. While the trees are coming down in droves here in San Francisco and around the world, the temperatures are going up. CO2 is going up, and methane is going up. Poverty is going up. The wealthiest are getting wealthier. It's time to do something. You can't just sit and do nothing anymore.